It's been more than a week of the transfer window now, and we're starting to see exactly where West Ham's priorities lie. Spoilers, it's mostly centre-back transfers we're getting linked to, but that doesn't mean it's only that. We've got some striker rumours in here. We've got some offers of full transfers. We've got apparently a concrete offer for a loan offer out, according to some sources, and we've even signed someone. I know, I can't quite believe it either, but there has been a bit on the website which says this player has signed for West Ham, but we'll leave him till last because I assume you've all seen that like days ago when it happened, right? So instead, what we'll do is we'll start by talking about a striker, an old friend, where the Standard are reporting that West Ham will be scouting Youssef En-Nesyri during African Cup of Nations while he plays for Morocco. Now, Malik Huiza? I apologise, Malik, if that's not how you pronounce your name. I tried. He has written, quote, the striker scored 24 goals for Sevilla last term and was the subject of a failed bid from West Ham United last January, as David Moyes sought after a replacement for Sebastian Haller. Injuries mean he is yet to match that form this term, but the 24-year-old still has been touted as a potential option in Arsenal's striker search. Now, we obviously know all about him. We've been here before. We've done this dance. It feels like many times. It's been a year since Sebastian Haller left to the day, and the guy who we were first linked with as his replacement was still apparently dancing around in this ridiculous way. I find it mad. They mentioned injuries there. It's only a muscle injury that he's missed 10 games with, but it's his first, according to transfer markets, at least since March 2019. So I know whenever we hear the word injuries, we panic. There's no signs here that it's a long-term, serious, reoccurring thing. It's just a singular incident. But even so, he scored 3 goals in 11 league games this year. Sorry, in 7 league games this year. Not exactly a bad return. Look, 7 games is barely anything. Let's be real about it. It sucks that he's been injured. But 3 goals in that amount of games? That's not bad. Moyes has mentioned since how he's, we know who we want, but we might not be able to get him to the summer. This infuriating thing we've been hearing for over a year at this point. Just sign someone, for Christ's sake. If it's En-Nesyri, sign him. If he's too much or you have to wait till someone, whatever, don't bother. Go sign someone else. We haven't had a second choice striker for over a year at this point, and it's complete chaos. It's just go sign someone. Just go sign someone. Speaking of signing another striker, West Ham reportedly now lead the January transfer race for new Didier Drogba, Bamba Dieng. Dieng. Let's go with Dieng. This is coming by way of the Mirror via Hammers News. Anthony Martin wrote it up there, so thank you very much, Anthony. Quote, and I want to quote this sentence specifically that Anthony wrote because I quite like it. The Mirror reckon that Hammers are in pole position ahead of Newcastle to sign the 21-year-old Marseille ace this month. I quite like reckon. The Mirror, they that's what they think. Which, to be fair, is the Mirror, so who knows? He's a centre forward mostly. If you don't know Bamba Dieng, I've not really seen him play, to be fair. He scored 4 and got 1 assist in 14 league games this season and has played 5 out of the 6 Europa League games for Marseille. So starting to get in that traction, but again, this is a player who's just breaking through into their team. This isn't someone who is an established starter for Marseille. This is someone who's still in the stages of becoming a starter. I think he's only finished one. I think he's played 90 minutes once this season, for example. He started appearing halfway through last season for them and is now a first team regular, getting a lot of game time, even if it isn't starting and even if it isn't full games. He's at least playing frequently enough. Shockingly, Newcastle will also be linked. Get hyped for that. That's something that's going to keep reoccurring in this show. Newcastle, because they want everyone right now. It's also very easy to link someone to Newcastle because they want everyone. And previously, this is something Anthony found, so shout out Anthony. The Sun, in a report when they were talking about Newcastle were interested in, were putting the figure of 15 million out there. So if you're looking at 15 million for a striker like Bamba Dieng, who isn't starting regularly enough for my liking for Marseille yet, not for me. Maybe a long-term option. Maybe we want to look at down the line. Maybe if we had enough money to play with, maybe it'd be someone we could sign as a sort of a backup long-term growth option. Maybe a third option. But the problem is I want someone who's going to come in and challenge Antonio now. I don't want someone who's going to challenge Antonio in a bit. If we had 2 strikers, if we had Antonio and someone else, Haller and En-Nesyri, pick a striker. It doesn't really matter. If we had another first choice quality striker, then I'd love to get someone like Dieng and bring him in and be like, right, let's focus on him. Let's try to make it happen. I know he's also played at left wing as well. So you're talking about someone who's got the movement and whatnot. I'd be interested, but in this situation, not for me. Would you like to take that kind of risk? there's someone else you might be wanting to take that kind of risk on. We go to Give Me Sport. Harry Sherlock has been quoting Peter O'Rourke, the freelance football journalist who gets quoted here, there, and everywhere. You can follow him on Twitter. I think it's O'Rourke Sport or something like that. But quote, Moyes could land his own Ian Wright with late transfer window swoop, end quote. If you don't know who that is, they're talking about Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal. This is the exact Peter O'Rourke quote. I'm sure he's on the list at West Ham, but I don't think he's a top target. He could be a cheap option late in the window if they don't sign their other top targets. Arsenal will probably be looking to sell him with his contract up in the summer. I want your opinions on this one specifically, because I think this is more realistic. He would probably be cheaper than Dieng. Dieng, you're looking at someone who, if the 15 million figure's correct, and if Newcastle are interested, all of a sudden you're in a bidding war, that number can rise. But let's just say 15 to 20 million, right? Nketiah, if you were signing him a season and a half ago, would have been 15, 20, even 25 million potentially. When he was first breaking into Arsenal, it looks like it was going to happen for him. He was doing bits. It was really exciting. The Ian Wright comparison was something I heard. One of my best friends who's an Arsenal fan, I spoke to him when he first broke in. He was like, yeah, he's basically Ian Wright. It was happening. He's fallen down the pecking order since. He's not getting anywhere near as much game time. He's only played 38 minutes in the league this season for Arsenal. He has played almost every minute in the EFL Cup, though, scoring 5 goals in 3, one against Wimbledon, one against Leeds, and then a cheeky hat-trick against Sunderland. But that idea of him being out of contract puts it in a whole new different realm. You're talking about, look, we've seen the figure on social media the last couple of days of 8 to 10 million for Divock Origi. That's being passed around. I can't believe that's true, but if it is, my God, go get Divock Origi. But if wages for some reason were a concern, if other teams were interested in Divock Origi and that was a concern, Eddie Nketiah could be another realistic option. He would probably be available, I suspect, for around about the same sort of 8 to 10 million figure. Now, it could be a case where Arsenal do what they did with Carl Jenkinson, for example, where they give him a new contract and then loan him out. But obviously, right now, he's not getting game time, and they've also been sniffing around Vlahovic, the striker who, if you're not in the bracket where you can get Erling Haaland, that's who you're aiming for. Vlahovic. He's doing incredible bits right now. They've also been sniffing around there. So it shows that he's not seen as a solution there. It could be a long-term thing. I would have said a loan would be realistic. But if he's not up for signing a new contract, maybe this is something that's available for, like I say, for around the 8 to 10 sort of mil figure, affordable wages. Would this be something you'd be willing to take a bet on? Let me know in the comments below. Now we get onto the left-sided centre-back party. Let's go. We'll start with L'Équipe, who are reporting 3 names. They have said we have shown interest in Rennes Raif Agard. Never seen him, can't speak to him. I know he's a left-footed centre-back. That's about it. We've also shown interest in Dortmund's Axel Zagadou, who I have seen broke through to Dortmund. Didn't quite happen for him. He came through their youth academy, but he's slowly been dropping down the pecking order since. They've got a lot of other centre-backs. I don't think it's going to happen for him there. I think he does need to leave Dortmund. It's not unrealistic that it's us. His contract is also up in the summer, to be fair, so it could be a case of he's available on the cheap, at which case I would be willing to take that risk. I do think he has the potential to be ahead of Diop and or Dawson, but I don't know. There's something that feels off about it. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the player or whether it's just an unrealistic transfer. I don't know. There's something seeming off about Zagadou, but they are reporting L'Équipe that the priority is Bournemouth's Lloyd Kelly. Now, if you don't know Lloyd Kelly, you've probably heard his name. He's been one of these players that keeps getting banded around a lot. He's a young English talent. He's 23. He's been first choice for Bournemouth since they got relegated from the Premier League. He signed them when they were in the Premier League from Bristol City, I think it was, where he'd started appearing regularly for them, and at only 23 years old, he's played quite a few times. He's made 56 appearances in the Championship this season and last combined. I would have seen him play in the Premier League. He played a couple of games in the Premier League before they got relegated. Not many, but I don't remember him. I don't remember seeing him. He might have even faced us, but I don't remember it particularly. But he is a left-sided centre-back, again, like the other two. So this is sort of the trend we're going with here. If you've seen Lloyd Kelly more, the question I would ask, do you think he's good enough to be ahead of Diop and Dawson? That's my concern, because I don't know if he is. He has the potential to be ahead of Dawson, certainly. I don't know if he has the same potential as Issa Diop, but that's potential is one thing. But will he come in and instantly be ahead of them? Because that's what we need. And if we don't have that, then there's no point signing him. Someone who his fee would be a relatively significant amount. He'll be in the Premier League at some point, whether it's with Bournemouth or someone else, he will be in the Premier League at some point, and we'll see. But for now, I wouldn't take that risk. Would you? Let me know. Speaking of left-footed centre-backs, Foot Mercato, I've put that accent on for some reason, are reporting West Ham are interested in AS Monaco defender Benoit Badiashile. Now, he's a 20-year-old left-footed centre-back, another young left-footed centre-back. He made his first team debut in 2018, and despite being only 20, and I've written this down because I wanted to get the number correctly, he has played 104 games for Monaco. 104 at 20 years old. That's nuts. That is completely and utterly nuts. He starts essentially when he's only fit. He's only missed a couple of games this season. He had coronavirus and then he had a hamstring injury. Again, I know I'm saying the word injury. It's a one-time thing. It's not, there's no reoccurrence, nothing like that. It's just a one-time thing, but he did miss a couple of games this season because of it. Outside of that, he's basically starting every single game. Teams who have also been linked, Wolves and Newcastle. Yeah, again. And this one feels unrealistic to me. It doesn't seem in our price range. I think if you were to sign Badiashile right now, it would cost a lot of money. He's at a club like Marseille, which means, at Monaco, which means there's a lot of interest around him. It's not a small club. It's not an unknown club. It's not an unknown player by any stretch of the imagination. He's more well known at this point than Issa Diop was, and he's got the same sort of stats that Diop was pulling up in France as well. So this is someone who would be incredibly interesting. If you said to me, you could sign him, I would snap your hand off. That's the Ogbonna replacement, in my opinion. You're talking about those sort of levels. Maybe he's not as good as Ogbonna yet, don't get me wrong, but by the end of the season, you get him in the Premier League. If he's settled, all of a sudden Ogbonna has a job on his hands to try and force his way back in if it was to all go well. But I don't think it's possible. I'm saying 20 plus million for him in January, and I don't see us spending that. Not on a centre back, not right now. I don't even know if we have that much money, if I'm being honest with you, but that's not inside information. That's just me spitballing. Speaking of left-footed centre-backs and left-backs, prolific tweeter and transfer insider Ekrem Konor, who you might have heard of, we've spoken about him many times on this show, has linked us to Abdou Diallo from PSG. Quote, West Ham have made an offer for PSG to sign Abdou Diallo on loan for 6 months. Now, if you don't know him, he's pretty well known. He's had some big transfers in the past. He joined PSG from Dortmund. Yes, it was Dortmund. He signed from Dortmund for about 25 plus million a couple of seasons ago. He signed from Dortmund the season before that for about 25 plus million, and that was from somewhere in Germany. I want to say Mainz, maybe. I'm going to go with Mainz. Let's say Mainz. Should have looked it up beforehand. Didn't. I look up all this other nonsense and then don't look up this basic information. I'm stupid. And he's a decent player, and he's played a fair amount for PSG. He plays fairly regularly. The problem with him is, if you're looking at, he plays two positions, right? Centre-back and left-back. He's more often a left-back now than he is centre-back. But centre-back, you've got ahead of him Marquinhos, Kehir, Sergio Ramos, and Kimpembe. Left-back, Kimpembe can play there, but you've also got ahead of him Juan Bernat. You've got ahead of him Kozawa, and also Nuno Mendes, who they've got on loan this season, which makes me think that this 6-month loan deal could be something they'd actually be interested in. Get him out for 6 months, because he started the season at left back. He was doing okay, and then got replaced by Juan Bernat, who, when he got injured, Nuno Mendes stepped into that role. So if you're saying that he's behind someone who's on loan for the rest of the season, it wouldn't surprise me if he left on loan for 6 months and then they could reevaluate it in the summer. A permanent transfer doesn't seem realistic. Like I say, he's got this history of very high transfer fees. But I would be interested in this. I think he's decent. I wouldn't be against this. And I think a 6-month loan deal could suit all parties with this one. I think this is actually kind of realistic. Despite it being from PSG, former Dortmund player, like, I think this is actually a relatively realistic signing for us. I don't know. Have you seen him play? What do you think? Would this be someone you'd be interested in? I haven't seen enough of him to really be able to judge him fully, but what I've seen, I've been relatively impressed by. So let me know in the comment section below, is this someone you'd be interested in? And finally, The signing. Now, I've left it till last because I'm assuming you've all seen it. It's a 17-year-old forward who's joined on a full-time scholarship from Linfield in Northern Ireland. His name is Callum Marshall. Now, the interesting thing about this today, he joined us a couple of days ago. He played for the under-20, he played for the under-18s today and scored in a 5-2 victory against West Brom in 10 minutes. In the first 10 minutes, he got a goal. Shout out Callum, welcome. Hope you're all good. Hope you're well. He made his senior debut this season with Linfield, scored his first in an 11-0 win over PSIN FC in the Northern Ireland League Cup. He's also been on the bench frequently and made some substitute appearances in the league for Linfield. The amazingly named academy manager that we have, Ricky Martin, said, quote, Callum came over before Christmas and trained with our under-18 squad. He made a really big impact and impression here. So we're now excited to welcome him to East London and into our Academy of Football family. He made his under-18 debut for us today and scored in a 5-2 win. He scored in 10 minutes. So there you go. Welcome, Callum Marshall. Interesting young prospect. Obviously, we've got some forwards, but none out-and-out strikers. I'm interested to see if he can fill that gap. Since Mipa Odebeko left, I don't see us having any really out-and-out strikers. We look at someone like Okoflex, who's more of a winger who can play up front. There's a lot of that. Sonny Perkins was a midfielder who moved up front. I'm interested to see whether he can fill that role. I don't know. We'll end up seeing. And the last thing I want to say, and it's just something I found out while I was looking up Linfield, David Healy's their manager. So love that. Remember David Healy? Fulham, Sunderland. Who else did he play for? Preston North End. Played for a bunch of teams in England. Scored, of course, in the famous win Northern Ireland had over England, the 1-0 win. He was the one who scored. So shout out David Healy. Oh boy. Well, and there you go. There's the show, a long one today because there was a lot of rumours going around because it is January. If I've missed any, make sure to let us know in the comment section below. If you haven't already, subscribe because it really helps out. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss any transfer nonsense. If there's anyone signs, we'll be on it like a rash. So make sure to hit that. And of course, tomorrow is match day. We've got tons of stuff coming your way. Build up show, an hour and 5 minutes before kickoff. Watch along starts half an hour before kickoff and runs all the way through until just after full time when the live review starts, and you'll be able to watch it all unfold with us. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Like the video because it's super useful, and come on you irons. Until next time, have a good one. See you later everyone. Bye.